Welcome everyone to the Smacked Up Wrestling Podcast. I'm Will.
I'm Martin.
So, as usual, you can follow us here on YouTube. Like and subscribe the channel. You get to hear us for our wrestling content. Also, there's a link in the description for the Facebook page where we'll have exclusive photos. Any videos, if we're at any events, you get to see them there first. Also, a big massive shout out to a Google Plus group. If you do YouTube channels, I'd highly recommend sign up with Google Plus. Obviously, you're a Google member, use it. It really does benefit you. The group is called Gamers Helping Gamers, and what the people are doing is helping subscribers getting their content seen. Not for like sub for sub, but getting people to actually watch the content you make. Spoke to a lot of guys last night, made a lot of cool new friends on it. The thing is amazing. So check them out. The guys are doing amazing work there. The group started yesterday. They've helped me. I've helped them. Guys are doing brilliant. So that's Gamers Helping Gamers on Google Plus. So today, Martin, we were only going to come back Monday. Tuesday? Shit. Fuck. I keep thinking there's a pay-per-view. But there was no way, all the shite coming out of yesterday.
Aye, and basically there's enough shite this week to justify a bonus extra episode. Lucky fuckers.
It justifies it. So first we'll get the NXT stuff out of the way.
Yeah, that was quite unexpected.
That was unexpected. I'm happy for one thing. So
really?
Mate, I've always loved Mickey James. Right, so we'll go.
Don't give it away or nothing.
No, I'm not giving it away. I'm going
to say their name.
I know, but I can't help it, mate. It's
right.
hard.
Anyway,
so I'm going with your list, right?
Right.
First things first. The big one, Ring of Honor guy, Roderick Strong, has signed for NXT.
Aye, that's going to be cool. I've only ever seen bits and pieces of him because it's been a while since I've watched Ring of Honor, to be honest. I kind of lost my way in the Jim Cornette era when he was saying how Owens had to lose weight to be any good, and El Generico needed to, not wear a mask. But as we all know, El Generico went to Mexico to look after orphans, where he was horribly killed by Mexican drug dealers who also burned down the orphanage.
Fucking bastards.
Terrible.
But then again, mate, nobody can sit through fucking Jim Cornette. I can't even sit through his fucking podcast without getting angry listening to the bastard.
His face is enough. His face is plenty.
Speaking of Kevin Owens, before I go into the second one, did you see him doing a People's Elbow and Seth Rollins in a house show?
Fantastic, isn't it?
Brilliant. Second gen, I'm happy with
Mickey James.
She's back. That brunette bombshell. I can't believe Oblivion for the new Gladiators.
Gladiators. I know. Do you know, my friend Tony told me this. There was a story about, like, back when he'd signed for TNA and they're going, this is Magnus. And he said, like, whatever the story was at the time, I think he was like 24. And in the comments he said, Christ, he's 24? That lad's had a hard life.
He looks built as fuck. So
I know, but he's got the face of a man 3 times his age.
So she's going to be fighting Asuka.
Asuka.
I love her a lot.
You watch Evangelion and you can't even say the name right.
I know.
Come on, son.
I know. It's terrible. Fucking hell, Will. And they're going to be fighting at the NXT takeover in Toronto.
Yes.
Do you think she'll come back to the main roster? Do you think she'll be...
I've no idea if it's a one-off or if she's going to be kicking about with the women in NXT for a bit. But you know what? That's part of the fun of NXT. You get to see what's happening. And they've brought in a lot of experienced people like Roddy Strong, Austin Aries and the likes. And of course, the glorious one himself.
Yes.
All guys who have been around for a while know their stuff. They even know the WWE still, because like a lot of us have grown up watching it. But I mean, it really started with Samoa Joe and Rhino coming in. It was to give the new guys a hand. That said, some of them, like Bobby Roode and Joe, are that popular. It's just a matter of time till they're on the main roster.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think I've got a funny feeling she'll actually stick in NXT. I think she'll stay in the help development.
That would be good.
She was no bad. I always really liked Mickey James. I can't. If she was to go back up, it'd be Raw. I can't see it in SmackDown.
Well, that was the other thing I was going to say. It's funny with Cena taking these breaks that two people he's had a bit of trouble with in the past have came back.
Yeah.
and Mickey James, and of course her ex-fiance Kenny
Yep.
in the Spirit Squad. And we all know that Kenny had given all these shoot interviews disparaging Cena and saying how evil he was and how he messed about, and Mickey had been off having an affair with him, and blah 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 blah. Like, I'm not really interested in who's pumping who, but what's the point in burning your bridges like that? And how jammy or what kind of photographs has he got of people in charge that got him back?
I know. I know. Big news for the UK. Big news.
This was really surprising. I just found this about half an hour ago. World of Sport back in ITV.
Yep, that's big.
I've got the story here. Just a wee second. Aye, so their plan is for a television tape in Manchester at the Media City in Salford. I would imagine they'll use modern rules, but of course, as you well know, people from Progress and ICW and all that, they're not like WWE talent. They can go wherever they want, which is why you see people in TNA, why so many companies here share wrestlers. So with the money that they're spending on this, you can expect to see a who's who of the UK scene.
It'll be great. Absolutely great. I can't wait till it's back on.
The only thing is, the last time ITV brought back wrestling, I don't know if you remember, it was in the 2000s. Celebrity wrestling presented by Roddy Piper.
Oh no, mate, the one I remember was on Bravo, and it was, fucking funnily enough, Hulk Hogan, Bischoff...
The midget wrestling!
That wasn't the midget wrestling, mate, it was like celebrity...
Oh, the other celebrity one?
And funnily, you knew who was going to win because his best mate, one of his best mates was on it.
Because he wrestled before for months for WCW, you mean?
That's fucking... That's the only one I remember.
Well, there was that 90s, the mid to late 2000s, Roddy Piper and probably Cat Daly or something. I honestly couldn't tell you who was on it. It was only on for a few weeks. I tried to watch it for lasted about 10 minutes. That's all I can remember about it. I can't even mind the name. But anyway, hopefully they'll be taking this a bit more seriously and we're not getting like Ant and Dec presents, you know.
Oh, they can get... No, are they not sacked by ITV?
Oh, who knows? I don't give a shit.
I'm the same.
Like,
I only hear this from my mum.
If there's no repeat of him getting shot with a paintball for Biker Grove, I'm not interested, to be quite honest.
I only hear this from my mum. She'll phone me. Oh, did you see this? No, I don't watch a telly, mum. I watch fucking YouTube or the network.
Aye, exactly. or certain streaming sites of dubious
yes
originality.
Yep. We don't pirate anything like
no,
that.
No, nor do I condone piracy.
No, we don't condone
unless it's the kind that involves a lot of drinking and boats.
But you wouldn't steal a car.
No.
You
I would download it though if it was free.
I fucking hated the hangs and DVD. You know what I mean?
I preferred the IT crowd one, you know. You would have steal a policeman's hat and shit in it and give it to his grieving widow and steal it again.
I'd shit his kettle.
And then boil it.
Fucking smear it across the walls.
Maybe would live in that house again.
So
anyway, speaking of shit,
so this is where the big stories have came from. The gift it keeps on fucking giving, and the reason we've got episode 5 today.
Christmas, just Christmas of dicks, Christmas full of dollars. So it is. TNA.
It's
magic. It's just magic. Now, where do I start? I mean, the first thing was 2 days ago, where it turned out that Billy Corgan, their so-called saviour, who was rumoured to actually have bought the company last week and then was named president, is now suing TNA, the Impact Ventures or whatever they're called company that runs TNA, and Dixie Carter herself, and has restraining orders against the companies, against Dixie and against Dixie's husband, but he sealed the documents. So we don't know for sure what the exact details are. However, it's every few hours, as time's going on, little things are creeping out here and there, and we're starting to put the jigsaw together. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's a turd.
It really sounds like she's fucked up.
Well, she's always fucked up. I mean, when she came in, like way back after Jarrett had spunked his money and fell out with his da. Sorry, there seems to be some kind of ambulance going by. Hold on.
At least it's no Tony for a change.
I know, but Christ, staying like the busiest road in the country is lucky this is the first time this has happened. Anyway, so we brief run over. So Jarrett sets up the company with his old da. His old da says, let's call it TNA so that people looking for porn get mixed up in other wrestling by accident, because apparently old Jarrett has never heard the refunds. Now, I don't know about you, but see, if I'm that kind of guy who's going to get pay-per-view pornography when the internet exists, I'm going to be a wee bit miffed when some arsehole comes out with a fake guitar and starts talking shite. Just a bit miffed, you know. Anyway.
Mate, I got miffed when it was free in WWE.
I know. But think of the poor Americans with their weekly pay-per-views, TNA, we all know what that stands for. Bang. What the fuck are these rednecks doing here? They're no naked woman. Anyway, so they go for like a wee while doing their weekly pay-per-view thing. They change their format a wee bit. Dixie comes in with some money that they're really needing, buys the company pretty much. Jarrett's still got shares. There's a whole thing with Angle and Jarrett and Angle's wife, who then married him because his wife died of cancer, and it was really better than anything on the telly at the time, hearing about all this. Anyway, years go on, of course, you get to about 2009, where they start talking about bringing in Heyman, and Heyman says, aye, sure, but I want to clear out all the old guys and focus on the youth. Instead of going with Heyman, who also wanted to be in charge of the company, so basically Dixie would just pay their way and Heyman would run the lot, including the storylines as well as what talent wanted to build around Daniel Bryan and blah blah blah. Instead of that, somehow, some way, Vince Russell gets in her ear and persuades her to bring in Hogan and his mates. And this is where it started going bad, as we all know. Hogan, Bischoff, bringing in all the old rejects. Flair having a match, Foley having matches. I love Mick, I really do, but he had no business being TNA World Champion in 2009, 2010. And then, of course, you get the likes of Bischoff and Bischoff's Wayne, and they basically take the money.
The one
and
thing...
Dixie gets further in debt and her dad cuts her off. Anyway, what are you going to say?
The one thing obviously set them apart for WWE was the ring. As much as I'm not a fan of the 6-sided ring, but it always set them apart compared to WWE.
When you were flicking the channels, that's something that would make you stop.
It was like interesting how they would work, like the good talent, or how they would work with this ring. And like one of the first things Hogan done was fuck that 4-sided ring.
And then of course he had the ramp changed so that he didn't need to climb upstairs because he had that battery powered spinal thing because he couldn't walk right.
Did he not make his daughter a writer on it or not?
And then he put her on there and they had her marry Bully Ray.
Oh fuck me.
Aye, this is just like a pottage history of the shit show. But that was one of the ones that stood out, and they fucked that up because, like, the day after they're getting engaged on screen, she talks about how she's single and blah blah blah, and wants to launch a pop career and makes an ass yet. Anyway, so that goes on for a while. People lose interest in TNA because it's the old fart show. They engage in rebuilding because, quite frankly, they needed it. Once Hogan and the old bastards started clearing out, some went back to WWE, some of them just fucked off. Then Billy Corgan comes in last year, bringing with him some much needed good PR and money.
Because he's a massive wrestling fan. And
he's always, when you see old ECW shows, he's usually in the front row having a great time. And he's been at WWE as well. And he was, I think he was going to be involved in Ring of Honor for a bit, but I don't quite know what happened with that. And there was another company, some indie one, that I wish I could remember the name of it, but he essentially ran it and set it up. Anyway, so here we are now. We find out, as I said, a couple of weeks back, TNA are choking for money. There's talk of them being done before Bound for Glory even started. And Vince and co were in for the tapes. Because WWE isn't exactly struggling for talent now. I'm not saying they wouldn't take anyone from TNA. Obviously, there's certain standouts who get one more run, like the Hardys.
Yeah.
But they really want that tape library so you can get, AJ Styles retrospectives, Kurt Angle's matches, some great cruiserweight stuff. Anyway, it's just, it makes sense because that is a whole decade plus of stuff for the network, plus your DVDs and all that. Then they were saying that, or rather the rumour was that Vince had acquired the video library and Corgan had acquired the company and he was going to change the name. And then basically just have a reboot.
Yeah.
And, it sounded fine. Then it went quiet for a bit, and then 2 days ago we hear about the lawsuits that are going on. So, this was just the start of TNA's troubles this week. So, it turns out the reason Billy is suing Dixie is because Dixie apparently tried to make business moves under his nose. Now, bear in mind, Corgan's president now. Dixie isn't. She does have some kind of power. We don't quite know what the split is. But she tried to get funding for the January tapings, which originally TNA had insisted they had enough money for due to international television deal money coming in.
Mm-hmm.
India, Challenge TV here, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure who it is she went to talk to about it. But this restraining order set that Corgan got is to stop any of this kind of thing happening. Because TNA owe money to him, to a company run by the Harris brothers of neo-Nazi fame, called Arrowlux. Pretty sure Dixie's dad's still got some debt there.
He's got members there.
And I think it works out. Even the channel they're on, because Fight Network are carrying them internationally in some places, and then you've got basically the channel they're on in the States is old TV Guide channel, so nobody looks at it because it's like the bottom of the listings.
Yeah.
But apparently the Fight Network were the people who bailed them for the last set of tapings and for Bound for Glory, whereas the rumours had said that they were selling the video library to fund that stuff. So it looks like WWE never quite got what they wanted, and we can presume from that Corgan never got his majority share.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it gets better or worse depending on what side you're on here, because after
it's better for us. Like, obviously we're getting more podcasts, but it's terrible if you're a TNA fan. It's bad. It's bad news.
Aye. Next, Billy is owed money by Dixie herself. Presumably she got cut off by the parents or something. So after she's got money off him, she's went to get more money off a third party or fourth party or fifth party. Now, I don't know if she's using this to fund TNA or what. We're told how the Carter family owns some energy drink thing in the States that has a fair bit of money, billions in fact. I found a split of some of the money that they do. Anyway, so all we know is Corgan and Dixie, traded some money for some reason, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, with the Tennessee Secretary of State, it's on file that TNA, technically their Impact owners, owes Arrowlux cash, as I mentioned, right? That's from March 14. They also owe money to a company called Anthem Sports and Entertainment, which are one of the parent companies of the Fight Network.
Uh-huh.
They also owe money to a group called the MCC Acquisition Corp, which apparently is the same as some other companies. Like they have the same address as the Anthem Sports place, so basically Fight Network again, but a different part of the Fight Network. And as I said before, there's the Arrowlux people. It's just insane. I mean, there is actually a proper document here showing that Dixie and Corgan arranged this loan. It's all documented as well. It's just insane that they went to this. So then he sues Impact Ventures, TNA, Dixie and her husband and another person who's apparently the chief operating officer, Dean Broadhead of TNA. So that's all who's in his lawsuit. It's not quite. Again, we're just speculating, putting it together how this is to do with TNA or Dixie, possibly even this Dean guy as well, trying to secure money for these tapings without Corgan knowing. Even though Corgan has a good bit of shares in it from funding tapings earlier this year. Next, Dave Meltzer, who everybody knows, the man with the abs to rival Johnny Mundo himself, despite just being a journalist, is saying that a couple of guys are ready to declare themselves free agents next week because TNA haven't paid them. Again!
It's absolutely shocking, mate. The way this is starting to end up, and I think you'll agree with me on this one, this is the whole WCW scenario all over again.
It's worse. It's far worse because when WCW closed, the people who were on big contracts like your Bellbergs, your Steiners, they were still getting paid by Warner, who had taken over, the merger between them and AOL at the time. And then part of that was the Turner Group. So those contracts weren't actually belonging to WCW, they were belonging to the Warner company. So they continued to pay the people. That's why they never came into WWE. They were getting offered half the money to actually work, whereas they could just stay at home and make a fucking fortune.
I mean, one of the things I remember, like Vince McMahon saying this, and it was on the network on that Monday Night Wars. I remember watching the DVD, and right, fair enough. When TNA started, it was Jeff Jarrett, his dad, wrestling minded. Obviously, they had the territory.
Not really, apart from the midget and the fat guy, the fat black guy, who is probably dead by now.
But
Cheeks, that was his name. Do you know what his gimmick was? What? He had a massive arse. CHEEX. He finished people by sitting on them.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Nobody could get up. His arse was literally a third of the width of the ring.
What I remember him saying was, like, see if you're wrestling minded. And if you're going to run like a wrestling company, if you take even like say ICW here, I remember was it during the week, I don't know if you read it, like Mark Dallas put up a message about the very first show he done, and
they've got a 10-year celebration.
Yeah, it wasn't the best, but he obviously stuck at it. But if you know wrestling, you can succeed to a certain extent.
Aye.
But if you're purely like, take Ted Turner, who
he was a wrestling fan.
He was a wrestling fan.
How the company was run.
Yes, then you're in problems, and I think that's what's happened with Dixie Carter because
Dixie is more of a mark than Turner was.
She is listened to so many bad ideas. The Hogan one, I always thought that was a terrible idea.
She had any bad ideas or not. Well, everybody knew it, and everybody told her, and she went, "No, it's Hulk Hogan. Everybody knows him. Bring him in." Based off how he was 20 years ago. She's a money mark. Guys would go in and take advantage. Why do you think Booker T and that got so crazy contracts? Southern Lassie, who watched WCW, who remembered those guys at their peak and paid through the nose to get a bunch of half-arsed, middle-aged, over-the-hill rejects, whereas the young guys who were hungry and ready and could have carried their company to a decent standing, definitely number 2 in America for a long, long while anyway.
Yep.
We're getting ignored or fired. I mean, look at what they did to that boy that broke his neck, Zima Ion. Broke his neck in the next division match. Like, it was really bad. They thought he would die at one point. Dixie insisted to his mother that there'd be a job there for life for him, and that she'd pay the medical bills, and that he would keep getting paid his contract money till he came back. See, about a month after all the PR had went away, he got fired.
Oh, there's Tony. Was waiting cute.
Oh, he gets fired. She doesn't pay the medical bills, and then because the guy needs a job, 3 years later he comes back.
It's
disgusting.
It's bad, mate. It's really bad on them, and I can.
And here's the thing, right? We're no done.
Oh fuck no! There's more.
This week's TNA show has no entrance music.
What?
They've had to mute the entrance music in post-production because some of it belongs to Corgan, because some people are using Smashing Pumpkins songs, and some of it they've licensed from whatever record company, like Abyss and that use The Beautiful People by Marilyn Manson. So they muted everything because they haven't paid.
See, to me that'd be bonus fuck to watch, because
it's worse, because you would have people coming out, right, and they're kind of nodding their head or sort of a wee bit of dancing to the music in their entrance, but it's completely silent.
Because that's what I was going to say. See, like watching the telly, the one thing, you know yourself, how if you're a wrestler, your music makes or breaks you, if you know what I mean.
Aye, absolutely. At the glass break, you hear somebody shout "Brapple-do," you know what's going to happen. Catches you like that.
It's one of the things. It's like a rock concert. As soon as you hear that song, boom, you're on your feet. And if you're watching this, and like you said, there's going to be complete silence, people are going to be reacting to something, and it's like, are they on fucking drugs? Now, if you didn't know this stuff, if you didn't know, like looking up on the sites or like listening to us, you're just going to see these people nodding their heads.
Aye.
It's
absolutely. I don't even know if they've left the crowd noise in. But I mean, see what a smart person would do. They would go, right, we haven't paid for this music, we're on air tomorrow, what will we do? Cut the entrances, use match cards with generic fuck all music in the background. Say, get your shite announcers, and by the way, fuck Josh Matthews. He's the worst. Do you know they lower his voice in post-production?
Wouldn't surprise me. I hated him.
They actually do. He was posting a video last week. They lower his voice in post-production because it's so high-pitched, whiny and fucking annoying. The Pope's no better. Anyway, you would have a match card, some generic music, have the two of them hype the shit out of whoever's next, then ad break match. No TNA. They make it look like the shit show that we all know it is. They come out to nothing, they go in the ring, the commentators shout a bit. Idiots. Next, and finally,
I'm waiting for this.
Former TNA production company has filed a lawsuit against TNA and Arrowlux because they've not been paid. The lawsuit is seeking $223,000 plus interest, post-judgment costs for breach of contract. Arrowlux are being done for fraudulent inducement. I'm sorry, I'm not quite clear on what that is, but probably, we'll pay you such and such if you do this. And also torturous interference on behalf of Arrowlux and for the defendants violating the Virginia Code. The company's called AO1 Productions. TNA began talking to them in 2015 about a possible long-term multi-event production services agreement. Now I'm going to just read it from the bit of here that I've got about it. Pursuant to which AO1 would provide a variety of production services for live TNA professional wrestling events, including audio-visual, broadcasting work, lighting, set construction and breakdown, as well as retention and payment of audience wranglers, personnel who patrol the crowd and try to engage audience members. So plants, basically.
Yeah.
Amongst other things. And then it also says here, the lawsuit states performed during the negotiations between the two companies. TNA production was overseen by the Harris brothers, and upon information and belief, the Harris brothers were not providing sufficiently high quality production work to TNA despite their industry experience. Their industry experience is being neo-Nazis and wrestling badly.
What I can see this, mate, unless Billy Corgan can salvage TNA, like you say, the wrestlers...
Billy Corgan doesn't have enough money to cover all this. To buy the company, to buy each party out, and then to pay off all these debts. He can't do it. He would be as well shutting them all down and starting again and maybe trying to negotiate with the likes of Pop TV to take over TNA's slot.
Because what I can see is, like now, like you're saying, like some of the wrestlers are going to come out and say, like, that's us, we're free agents, which has got, it looks like it probably will happen.
Aye, at this stage, unless something incredible or miraculous happens and Dixie fucks off between now and the start of next week.
mean, I can see WWE snapping up a few of them. I'd see them taking back Bobby Lashley, definitely the Hardy Boys. And
Bobby Lashley, Hardy,
Bobby Lashley. I would hope and they see sense to take back Drew McIntyre or Drew Galloway.
I don't know how they fucked that up.
No,
that's
they
a story for another day.
I
don't know how they managed.
They fucked up the guy.
They were handed gold. They mashed it in their horns and produced a turd.
Yep. Obviously, the way even wrestling fans like us, we always look at WWE is always the top. There is nothing that's going to top that one. As much as you can complain about the product you see, just now it's getting better, but at the last while it's been absolutely fucking atrocious to watch. Then it's a hard one for me because I'd probably put Ring of Honor second for me, but it's ultra close.
New Japan.
New Japan. That's what I was going to say. That because I've not watched a lot of New Japan, see that way it's that ultra close. If you know what I mean, they two can switch depending.
And they're working together as it is anyway.
Yeah. Then you could even put ICW above.
In the UK, yes.
Because TNA, I remember who was it showed a picture. I think it was Lords of Pain. Showed this picture years ago, and it was a house show,
and it was fucking empty.
It was dead. It was absolutely dead.
Aye.
So it's not looking good for them.
No, and I mean, I don't want to say, well, they're definitely fucked, because just every time, somehow, some way, they pull something out their arse and they keep going. But I mean, a cat has 9 lives. How many lives does TNA have? It can't have many left. It just can't.
No.
They've been so lucky. It's not going to last forever, that luck. It's a matter of time to end up in bankruptcy court. Vince snaps up the video library for fucking pennies. It's the best outcome for us as fans. It's going to leave a lot of people at work.
Yeah, that's a sad thing.
Which pisses me off the most.
That's the bad side to it.
I don't want to see TNA shut down. I want to see TNA rescued and fixed. But as long as Dixie's there, hanging on by her fingernails, there's only one way this story's going to end, and it's not going to be nice.
No, it won't be. It won't be, mate.
I don't take any pleasure in this, because TNA, once upon a time, were a valid alternative for a little while, putting on some tremendous matches, a tremendous roster, and a series of very bad decisions by somebody who's too much of a fan to be objective and running a business has fucked them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's awful. It's just awful.
It's bad, mate. It's bad. So that's us then again.
Aye. It's a wee episode, but can't miss out on the big news. Sure. I'm absolutely certain more's going to come out today and over the weekend about this.
Oh, if there's mare's coming out, we're coming back, because there's no way we can't miss this.
I know, and like I say, I hope this somehow Dixie takes a bump on the head and sees sense.
She's going to make, if she's a wrestling fan, she's going to see what's best for, like Triple H says, best for business, and she's clearly no.
Well, no, and I don't think that she's going to see suddenly. She's not going to have that revelation that she clearly needs.
No, I think the bad's going to happen. I think that's what's going to be the outcome.
Best case scenario that I think we can legit hope for is that TNA make it through November without getting bankrupted to hell through court deals, so we can see this Matt Hardy run total non-stop deletion, because I want to see Grado fight Smoking Joe Frazier the Kangaroo. I think it's genius. It's going to be 2 hours of gold. Really, just some quality wrestling, because if they can get things like the Young Bucks in, I'm not exactly a Young Bucks fan, but there's something different. Nice one-off appearance in TNA would get attention. Doesn't do them any harm. Also has a knock-on effect of helping out my boy Kenny Omega over in New Japan. Because Kenny Omega is the fucking man. And I cannot stress enough that you need to go and watch his stuff. And I don't mean like the infamous stuff like, you know, him fighting the wee lassie or the blow-up doll. I mean like his work in New Japan.
Mm-hmm.
The guy's just phenomenal.
So
let's hope Matt Hardy gets his non-stop deletion.
yeah, because you're desperate.
Who's me?
You're desperate to see him.
I've got the hiccups now. That's good timing, isn't it? Fucking hell.
Always end on a high note.
Bye!
You've been listening to the Smacked Up Wrestling Podcast. I've been Will.
I've been Martin.
And we'll be back on Tuesday for the Raw recap.
Ta-ta.